In a studio that's in a basement comes the epic story of how two friends changed the future of the movie podcast game forever. The reviews are in. Boys Life magazine gives the High Sci podcast 4.5 acorns. The Daily Bugle says, these guys are super legit. And Pope Francis declares the podcast as life-affirming. From the kid who tried to get smart with David Spade and got fucking old.
You're still out. You're still bad.
And the guy who can name all four Baldwin brothers.
Alec, William, Daniel, and the baby boy, Stephen.
Live from the studio of his parents' basement. The Have You Seen It podcast.
Hello and welcome back to the Have You Seen It podcast. My name is Mason Knight. Sitting across from me is the one and only Cash Kraus. Cash, how you doing?
Pretty good.
Okay, well, I know when we get more than one pretties, it makes for a pretty good day.
It absolutely does. But yeah, doing pretty good. We're starting out a little smoother than we had in previous episodes. You did not lock your keys in the car this week.
I did not. I did do that 2 days ago.
Big accomplishment
I lost
for
my
you.
cool. I lost it
You
because,
did, which doesn't happen. You're always with someone that's so cool. You barely.
I always have a cool calm. I never lose my temper or anything. And I was very pissed because my key battery died, so it's like an electric thing. So you have to have the manual key.
So annoying.
And
you don't have a spare.
No, don't have batteries.
Yeah, most of the time they don't give you spares with those new cars.
It was a process. But we got it. We got them. We got
You
the
overcame.
keys.
You overcame that huge obstacle, and now you're a better man for it.
I knew a person who had AAA.
Oh, so you didn't have AAA?
No, I didn't know.
Nice.
But hey, it's not. Sometimes it's not what you know.
Yeah,
it's who you know.
Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah.
So.
I say cut out the middleman. Befriend the AAA guy.
That's true.
You don't need that other dude.
I did offer him a beer, but he said, I'm on the job.
I work AAA. I'm driving constantly. You could not offer a worse person.
Time, to
maybe a surgeon. Yeah,
Right.
but I'm driving constantly. Yeah, but that would be bad. It would especially be bad if you were living in your car and you forgot your keys.
That's true.
Am I right?
And you locked yourself out.
What would you do? What would you do if you were a nomad? And you couldn't. That's your house.
It is.
It's your home.
It is my house. You know who I'd ask?
A locksmith.
Yeah, a locksmith. Yep. A locksmith.
Yeah, or probably Frances McDormand.
Or Swanky.
Or Swanky.
There we go.
I don't know, though.
She was drilling
When
her.
Swanky puts up that black flag, don't bother fucking Swanky. You know the rules.
Swanky will spank you. You know what I'm saying? If you
Swanky
piss her
spanky.
off.
Absolutely. And we are talking about, of course, Nomadland, the new movie just released, starring, like I said, Frances McDormand, directed by Chloe Zhao.
Yes.
A female director. But yeah, this is Nomadland. It's a smaller film, kind of an indie film for sure. It's basically Frances McDormand. She plays Fern.
Yeah.
And basically what happens, it's a couple years. I think it's 2012, isn't it?
It's 2011.
2011, right.
2011. This film premiered at the Venice Film Festival Awards, September 11th, 2020.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always a tough date to premiere your film on
September. On top of the whole COVID-19, it was pretty much a lockdown, so no one could actually go and see this. It was more like virtual.
Right. But it's a road trip movie, one of the best road trip movies in my opinion. It is a breath of fresh air. I fucking loved this film.
It was one of the greatest films I've seen, honestly. And I feel like I've been saying that a lot recently, but there was something, and we talked about this off air a few days ago, because we've been waiting for a few days to talk about this, but there was something very therapeutic about this film.
Oh my God. I say sometimes films are a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
This film was like taking the biggest breath of fresh air after not having air for years. That's what it felt like. Like it was a release.
And Frances McDormand, man, I'm telling you, like watching this film, I thought it was a documentary. Her acting was so good.
Let's just talk about it. Every chance I get, I try to praise her. But there's just something so familiar about Frances McDormand.
Yes.
Like she's an old friend or or an aunt or something. There's just something so familiar and warming when you see her on screen. It's like you know her personally. And
that's actually like verbatim what I feel
and
when I watch her.
And that is such a rare thing for actors in general to be able to feel. I mean, it's kind of like a Bob Ross or I'm not saying she's up to that level yet,
right?
Or Fred Rogers. You know when Mr. Rogers came on screen, no matter what, even if you didn't know him, you just felt this warmthness and this feeling that this guy's familiar to me,
right?
And that this guy's he's not. It's not a risk or anything. He's just the nice guy in the world. And that's what Frances McDormand is to me. She's just, when she comes on screen, it's like, it's like seeing a person I haven't seen in years that I was really close to at one point. Yeah.
And it never felt like a performance.
No, it's
a lot of these times these rich actors, like they do a good portrayal, but you can still tell it's a performance. This wasn't a performance. This was like a slice of life of like being a nomad.
Yeah. Well, she did go out and live in a van for months and traveled around to really get the sense of it. But yeah, we've talked about her earlier, but right now she's in my Oscar contention for sure.
For sure. And I think she is, as it sits right now, at least over the last couple of years since we've started this podcast. Yeah. She has had back-to-back
there's just no one better. I don't think there's anyone better right now.
Yeah.
Female actors wise,
no one better.
I don't think. I mean, just actor wise, I don't know if there's anyone better right now. She nails it out of the park every time.
She does. And fun, I shouldn't say fun, but great choices in roles too.
Oh yeah.
3 Billboards.
Well, she's at the stage of her
now
career
Nomadland.
where she gets to pick only things that she absolutely loves. And she's married to a Coen brother. So I'm sure she probably like floats in the script and one of the best scriptwriters in the world. Right. And I'm sure he's like, yeah, I would definitely do this.
Yeah, I'll definitely produce it if you need it.
It's definitely, but she's been in a ton of Coen movies, but she's fucking fantastic. Like you said, she portrays this so realistically. But if you ask me if I was prepared to see Frances McDormand full frontal, I would say no. No, I was not prepared. But I gotta say, not bad.
Hey man, she cleans
not
up.
Bad at all.
Hey,
for what is she? She's probably 60 now.
Do you think she's 60?
She's got to be up there.
No, I don't think she's 60. Oh, she is 60. Yeah, she's 63.
Told you, dude. Yeah. She shows quite a bit
impressive.
of her. Shows quite a bit of her. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
She is she's very beautiful. Still very, very beautiful. Beautiful and talented. A double threat. But yeah, this movie was so well acted. There's pretty much Frances McDormand is one of the very few actual actors in this film. Mm-hmm. All the other people that she's surrounded by are just
locals,
regular fucking people, and I can't believe the performance they were able to get out of some of these people.
Yeah.
Which goes to the director, goes to Chloe Zhao.
Yeah. And that's the thing about, I guess if you want to call it, their performances was there was something natural and organic about the way they presented their dialogue, their lines, you know, where it almost felt so, not casual in a bad way, but casual as if you are literally just taking a camera and you're like a fly on the wall when they're having these conversations. One in particular between Frances McDormand, which is Fern, and I believe it was Swanky, was when they were talking about, just the plates.
Yeah, Swanky played by Swanky.
Swanky played by Swanky, yeah. Let's hope she didn't actually have cancer in real life.
Well, yeah, and so the whole story is Fern, played by Frances McDormand. She lived a regular life until this kind of collapse happened, 2008 to 2000. I think we're still dealing with it.
She lost her husband as well. He passed away.
She didn't lose only her husband. She lost her entire town. She worked in a mining town, so a town that only runs on one thing, the mine. Or not, it was a cement factory or something, wasn't it? But yeah, and that closed out, and then they literally shut down her
because the
entire
whole
thing.
economy's gone after.
And that's the thing is, it's a movie about this individual going through these crazy obstacles, but it's a movie just as much about America, you know, and capitalism and how it has failed a large group of people, especially these people that are our parents' age,
right?
Who never had enough money to retire because they weren't ever getting paid enough, so they could never nestle anything away, and now companies screw them over by shutting down, and they leave them with nothing, absolutely nothing. They have to go around work. It's such a miserable existence. Every time they would show the contrast of just a beautiful open road, and then they go back to the Amazon factory,
Right.
and you could tell obviously they did that on purpose, you know, to go from one just beautiful open freedom to pretty much prison.
Yeah.
I mean, pretty much absolute hell in the fucking Amazon factory. It's such a miserable existence. To think about this, some people are literally just working or just living just to work on Amazon. And
Yes.
And they're living in their van just so they have enough money to
And
work.
it's seasonal work too, so it's not even a full-time gig.
It's the worst.
You get no benefits. It's literally you work for a couple
It's
weeks.
such a minimal
and then you're out.
existence. It's so brutal, dude. It's horrible. But there's this huge, large population and growing population
Right.
that's forced to do that.
I was kind of confused as to why Amazon Video or Prime Video didn't pick this up when they allowed this film to use their facilities.
They got so many giant corporations to be able to use, like Amazon. They were doing Coke at one point. Like it's like they had. I was thinking the same thing. It was like they had free reign on using all these giant
corporations.
Yeah, because it's not like he was painting Amazon in a great picture.
No,
and it wasn't really doing it in a bad picture either. But it was.
I think it was pretty mute.
Yeah, but it was. You know, for anyone watching, it was kind of up to you to decide. And I think anyone watching kind of got the feeling that, oh, this is really shitty.
It just wasn't overt. You know, it wasn't in your face.
It didn't come out and say Amazon's.
It's a terrible company.
I think at this point, everyone kind of knows.
Well, yeah.
You don't need to see it on a movie screen.
Right.
To realize that Amazon is really shitty. But yeah, it was just this crazy contrast of like just the freedomness of the open road, and then going back and having to work 12-hour shifts for minimum wage because fucking and she worked all her life too. So did her husband, and then they were left with nothing.
She was a
brutal
substitute teacher at one point, and I like that scene.
She worked HR.
Yep, she worked HR. The two kids with their mom comes in, and the mom's really worried about her, and she's like, "Hey, like we got a place to stay." And I like that kind of the common theme of that. It's like everyone perceives her as homeless, where you know she does have a home, at least in her opinion. You know, her van is her home. She's
houseless.
Yeah, she's houseless, not homeless. And
it was this whole kind of thing of like, is she out there because she wants to be out there, or is she out there because she has to be out there? You know, she was the kind of person that we get later on with the great like kind of little side plot with the sister and everything. We get that she was the kind of person that kind of always had to be on the go.
Yeah.
And was kind of just went to the beat of her own drum because she left her sister early on to go marry Bo, which was her husband. Yep. And she married him after 3 years, and they moved to, ironically, a town called Empire, which they always name these shitty towns like New London. Or it's always like, or Rome. Or they always name these shitty towns, these big, grand names, and then they end up just completely going defunct. No one living there. And you can just drive through the bare bones of Empire these days. And there's towns littered all over the United States like that, of just completely abandoned after the mine or the well or whatever drives
the one source of income was.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The asbestos mine shuts down or whatever. But it's crazy. But we got to talk about the cinematography.
Yes.
I knew this was going to be a road trip film. I knew there'd be a ton of B-roll. So I'm so glad that I got to see this on a big screen.
Yeah.
Because there's so much B-roll, but it's so beautiful. Some of the shots, because she's only staying in the most beautiful places. But when she goes into like the redwood forest or whatever, and it's just like
she's hugging the giant tree.
It's so slow, and at one point she doesn't give up, but she gives in to the lifestyle, and she starts wearing like loose flowing dresses and stuff. becomes completely free,
Right.
But those scenes are so beautiful when she goes like to the forest and she skinny dips in the river and shit. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
It's definitely something I would look to do at that age for sure. It's just hit the road, man. But yeah, there's some great fucking B-roll. The cinematography is fantastic in this film. As any, if you're having a road trip film and you're not having those long shots of the horizon or whatever, you're not doing it right.
Yeah.
But
And it was very captivating. There are a lot of beautiful shots. And with a story like this, you need that.
Absolutely,
You need those shots. You need the B-roll. Because it did have that very indie feel to it, too.
Yeah, for sure.
Documentary style. So as far as editing and cinematography, great job. Let's talk about David.
Oh, my
And the
God.
relationship between David and
We should have warned you earlier. If you're going to watch this film, you are going to be tearing up through the majority of it. I don't, but man, I was welling up for sure. Multiple times. Times. I was like, oh God, this is hard.
heavy.
I know. But yeah, one of the scenes in particular is the scene with David, who is the leader of these nomads. He's a real guy. He started out doing like YouTube and posting pictures of like how to survive out on your own, right? Mm-hmm. But and every like year they meet up in the middle of Nevada or something.
You mean Bob?
I'm talking about Bob.
I'm talking about David. The Bob. There's a lot of emotional scenes. David is the love interest.
Yes. Oh, right.
He didn't know how to be a father, and then his rich kid shows up, says he's pregnant, wants to meet his grandchild.
Which was cool because it ends in a way that's just very realistic. They didn't end up together.
Nope. She ended, of course, because she's got to be free.
Yeah.
She just left.
But their relationship throughout the entire movie is very, again, just very realistic and very, it's kind of like cat and mousey. They're like two kids, I guess, kind of. They don't really know how to act around each other.
Well, and it never got to any sort of boiling point. I mean, even when they did, quote unquote fight, when he tried to help her, the box slipped.
Yeah, it's so
broke all her plates. I was thinking, okay, that's the end of that relationship. Typical film.
Exactly. It's so un-Hollywood.
Yeah.
In a romance film, that would be like the breaking
point. Exactly. You're totally right. It would be.
And then they would go down, then they'd come back and meet back together and everything.
That's where I thought it was going.
No one breaks up to someone from breaking a plate, even though we knew these plates were one of the last things that she had of her old life, remember?
Yep.
But yeah, it was, she just got mad. She got mad in the moment. And then that was it. She got over it and she fixed the place or whatever. And
they became good friends. He did a lot of stuff after that too.
Yeah, they go to a lot of cool locations. They go to Wall Pharmacy.
Yep.
Have you ever been there before?
No.
It's like this giant, it's like literally a city block of a store. They got food. It's been there for a really long time.
They went to the Badlands National Park as well.
Yeah, they were the Badland bitches. Remember that?
Yeah. That's funny.
There's some really funny scenes in this.
There are.
But yeah, and he shows up randomly. Yeah, it's a cool life. It really is. Going around, just picking up jobs, wherever you can, just to make enough money, just to keep going to the next place. It's fucking cool.
I met a guy, so he was a temp, and obviously I work full time at this warehouse. I was a press brake operator, but they moved me for a couple weeks because they were in the middle of a giant move, and so they had some temps working. And I talked to a guy who literally does this.
Yeah,
he doesn't live in a van, but he'll go to certain places. He'll work for 2 or 3 months, save up, and then go to a different country for a couple months. And I'm like, you do that, huh? He was like 22, 23. He goes, yeah, just for a few years. I just want to go out and explore the world. And I'm like, that's crazy.
It's cool.
So he just comes back and he does temp work until he's got enough money, and then he goes and travels for a couple months.
Yeah.
Some people do live like this.
Yeah, it's cool, but it's like a give and take. You clearly have to be very on your own kind of person.
Yeah.
And you can, it's not like you can be really missing someone and being like, because that would make it really hard. So you really got to be just isolated. And that's what it was. And that's how you figured out all these nomads when they go to Nomadland, the big meeting that they have. They're all out there for a reason. Yeah. They've all lost someone. They're all they're all quote unquote searching for something, which really Bob says you're never going to find the answer, but you're going to find, the people that you need or whatever.
Bob was a very smart man.
Oh, yeah.
Never goodbyes. It's always see you down the road.
See you down the road. And that
I do like that a lot.
the scene when when Swanky's talking about when she first reveals that
She has cancer.
Oh my God, that's a tough
That
scene.
was heavy.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, it was fucking
Super.
And she was talking about all the places she got to visit and how
Well, the fact that she had a neighbor that never got his boat. His dream was the boat, and it stayed in the.
well, that wasn't Swanky, that was a
driveway.
different person. Yeah.
Yeah, no, her neighbor.
Yeah, that's when they're all talking. Yeah, yeah.
She said, "I never want to be like that. I never want to leave my boat in the driveway
Yeah.
when I die."
No, that wasn't Swanky. That was a different lady.
Oh, it was?
Yeah, that was a lady that was like, she worked at a corporate office. She's like, yeah, I worked at a corporate office, and one of my best friends died. He had a boat, and then but she's like, I don't have a boat, but she's like, this is my boat now. Yeah, that wasn't Swanky. No,
okay.
Swanky got cancer or whatever, but because Swanky had already gone to all these places. She's already traveled. Swanky had been on the road for a long time.
Yeah, she had one last trip to Alaska or whatever.
because she wanted to see the swallows again.
Yep.
But yeah, that scene when she sends her the video or whatever of the swallows and she made it. Oh, it's such a beautiful scene. So well done. But yeah, and then the scene when they have to throw the rocks in the fire too.
For her, yeah.
Oh, Swanky.
You will be missed.
You
Swanky.
will be. I barely knew you, but man, will you be missed. Yeah. Tough scenes. A lot of scenes like that. Every half hour there's a scene where you're fighting back tears. But yeah, the scene I was talking about was a scene with Bob. Bob's the guy who does everything. He's the real guy who does the nomad traveling. But there's a scene when he's talking about his dead son that is fucking tragic. And you cannot believe that this guy's not an actor.
Yeah.
I have to believe he's got a really dead son. And they're just like,
Well,
do you mind talking about it?
I literally just Googled Swanky Nomadland because I want to know, like, just because the performances were so good from these non-actors, did they just tell like a real life story like, in a film? Yeah.
And like, how open are these fucking guys to make? But I guess at that stage, when you don't have technically anything left, you just have the run. Why not?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what it ended up being. Is like they meet up every year. All the nomads.
Nomadlands.
Yeah, they meet up every year, and it's pretty much just one giant like therapy session. Because everyone there has lost something, so it's pretty much just a therapy session.
And it's probably not something where you can, you don't have that support system around you. You're on your own.
Yeah.
So to come together and talk about your problems for a
Exactly.
few days is probably very.
If you can't afford a
therapeutic.
house, I doubt you can probably afford therapy. Yeah. So it's a crazy situation, but you're right. It's pretty much the only time that they have to open about these things. But
So let's Chloe Zhao is the director of the Eternals coming up.
big
Marvel
big
Phase
time,
4.
yeah. I'm guessing I haven't seen. She's done 2 other small indie films, probably smaller, but both of them have been really, really well
Received.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm super excited about the Eternals now. That's Disney always does. Whenever they get someone that's not, Hollywood broken already, that's when their best films become.
Yeah.
And I love what they're doing with Phase 4 right now. Marvel, have you been watching?
WandaVision?
Yeah,
No.
yeah. It's very different, very weird.
Yeah.
Almost
imagine.
scary.
Really?
Yeah, they're definitely going for a darker. They aren't going for horror.
Yeah.
Because we know from
Disney hates horror.
Because we know from the new Doctor Strange, they fired the old director to get it because it was too scary. But they are definitely going in a really weird, more cerebral kind of thriller route for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's definitely interesting. But I'm guessing that the Eternals, because they have this kind of director also, will be going more of that character driven.
Hopefully, yeah.
Absolutely. I'm guessing it won't be overly action.
When it's not a well-known, for your
no
average person, like for me,
Yeah.
I've never read an Eternals comic book. I don't
No.
know who the Eternals are.
They're cool.
So you do have to have character development.
Yeah, but that's like Guardians of the Galaxy. No one knew who the fucking Guardians of the Galaxy were until the movie came
Yeah,
out.
no, very true.
No one knew.
Very true.
Now it's probably
It's
my
huge.
favorite of the Marvels. That's probably my favorite of like the spin-off franchises. But yeah, and with a director like Chloe Zhao, She has no history at all in doing anything like action-packed
Mm-hmm.
or anything. So I'm really excited to see that story. And, of course, Angelina Jolie.
She is in it.
Hasn't
is
been in
true.
a movie in a very long time. She
It's been a
retired.
little while.
So for Chloe
I
Zhao
think
to get her back.
Maleficent are the only two that she ends up doing.
Yeah, and she came back for that film only
second
because she
one.
had like, I don't know, personal. Because she did retire. She's been directing mostly,
Mm-hmm.
but for some reason, I think Disney just has her. Has some
Yeah.
dirt on her.
They do. Oh yeah, for sure. Some blackmail, no doubt about that.
She's like, I won't do another damn movie, and then Disney comes calling, and she's first one on the set. So, but yeah, I'm excited for the Eternals, and I want to go back and see Chloe Zhao's other films, because if they're anything like this, man, this is my favorite type of film these days.
Yeah, same.
The premise, of course, the most simple fucking premise in the world. There's no twists. There's no turns. It's just
But the execution was damn near perfect.
absolutely
Like with everything.
Yeah.
It really was. Like, and this is the film too that I could just sit back and watch again, no problem.
I think I can watch it again and again.
Mm-hmm.
I could literally sit and maybe watch this film 3 times in a row.
Yeah.
It's just so it's hard to talk about, but it's so beautiful. You know, this film has, Rotten Tomatoes. I don't love Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah,
but that's,
I don't think most people do.
No, that's the basis that pretty much everyone goes off of.
Of course.
But this film has a very high critic score. Do you know what the user score for it is?
I could imagine some idiots probably voted it down. I'd say low 90s.
Yeah, I wish it was low 90s, because it's a 94 right now on critic score.
What's the audience score? God damn it.
I know, I'm trying to figure out. It's a 78. Yeah.
Get out of here. That's wild. How did people not enjoy this film?
Morons. Absolute morons.
I don't
I'll say
understand
it.
it. Yeah.
The majority of people are morons. Absolute morons. Yeah, 78.
In the end, here's a rotten review. In the end, Nomadland delivers a liberal libertarian longing for a vague, undefined restoration of what was. How do you make a movie like that political? How do you make a film like this political?
Well, how do you say something is liberal and also libertarian? Those are two those are the opposite
oh my God,
spectrums
bro.
of the...
Some of these
That was a
people are
user
so
critic
stupid.
or a...
No. That was an actual critic.
I was going to say, so for
From
a
the New
user to say
Yorker.
something like that.
So, I mean,
but they
take it
had,
with a
they
grain of
had to have
salt.
gave him a good review, though, didn't they?
No, they gave it a rotten.
Oh, the New Yorker's one of the few.
New
That's
Yorker
New York.
gave it a bad.
Who reads the New Yorker,
No
though?
one.
I mean, yeah.
Christ. They never have a good opinion about anything.
Bitch Media gave it a high review.
Well, hey.
I love
I like Bitch Media now. Bitch Media. That's actually hilarious.
Yeah, I have no idea who that is, but they're seen worthy enough to give their critic review. So, yeah, so the only 2 actors were Frances McDormand and David Stratham,
Yep.
who's in a ton of stuff, but he plays Dave. Yeah,
He does.
That's the only 2 actors, I think, in the entire film.
Yeah. Everyone else was locals or just people that
Rare,
actually
very
are
rare.
nomads.
But it's so hard to get someone that doesn't act at all to act natural on camera.
Mm-hmm.
It's really fucking... I mean, that's why actors are paid so...
Yeah, because it's a hard task.
Because it's hard to just act normal. It's a hard task. But
Well, you watch reality shows the first couple days. Most times those people are awkward because they're like trying to get the hang of like
throughout the
being
entire
in front of a
series, I feel
camera.
like they are. Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. That's another one I'd love to see the behind the scenes, because I'd love to see how they were I'm gonna get her name, Chloe Zhao.
There we go.
I want to say
Chloe Zhao.
Zoe Cloud for some reason.
Yeah.
But I would love to see how she was able to get these performances out of these people, but with feeling so natural, and just the I don't know. I mean, I guess one thing is it's usually just like a one-on-one thing.
Right.
I mean, like, it's usually not a crowd or a
And that was the thing that they did very well. So it was like in a van. So it was just Frances
Exactly.
McDormand and Swanky.
and
in a
probably
van.
one camera guy
Yep.
and the directors. I mean, maybe.
And then everyone
yeah.
else is outside the van. So it's not.
Or it was Bob and Fern.
Yep.
One-on-one at the campfire, no one else around.
Yep.
So maybe that is it. Maybe
it
that's
is.
how
That's the
you
secret.
Get,
Yeah, it is.
But even then, I feel like maybe you got to do it, because the Bob delivery, that guy deserves a fucking Oscar.
he does. Supporting character. Yeah.
Because when he's talking about his son, man, it's gut wrenching.
It is.
It is fucking real. Yeah.
I know. I wonder if that actually happened to old Bob.
I hope not.
I hope not. Yeah, exactly. I hope that's.
But
just
man,
in the script.
I can't imagine that it didn't happen.
Yeah, with the way he delivered it, for sure.
Yeah, I just can't. Yeah, his son ended up committing suicide. It was brutal.
So sad.
Brutal. But you never say goodbye.
I'll just see
See
you
down the road, old Swanky.
Yeah, that's what those
Throw a
nomads
rock
say.
in the fire for me. That's all I need.
That's it.
Just throw a rock in the fire for me.
I'm
That's
not
all.
too demanding.
Yeah, I don't need a
Something
big
simple.
funeral. Yeah.
Something simple.
But beautiful film.
Yep,
I'm
absolutely.
so glad I saw it. And it's whenever it's a shitty time, the world needs more films like this more than ever.
Yep.
So if you're,
Definitely
if
a
you're
top
really
10
down with
for 2021 so far.
absolutely.
We, you know what? We probably put 2 or 3 on the list so far. And we're only in February.
What was the last one?
Judas and the Black Messiah.
Oh, for sure.
Yes.
So we've had a decent run
We
right
have.
now.
We have. We've
I
had a
don't want
good
to say it 'cause it's
February.
been a long time since we've been on a hot streak.
And Netflix just dropped a film that's getting pretty good reviews too.
Which one is it?
I Care.
Oh, I saw it.
I Care a Lot.
It is good.
Or I Care.
I care
a Lot.
now.
Yeah, something like
I
that.
care a lot. I think it is I care a lot.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, but it's got the what's her name from Gone Girl.
Yeah.
She's fantastic. But she plays it is good. But so we might have to review that.
I'd have to review that too. Yeah. There's actually a lot of movies coming out. Yeah, it is I Care a Lot. It's Rosamund Pike.
Right, Rosamund Pike. Yeah, she's always playing like a conniving, sneaky kind of fucking bad
Pretty
bitch.
crazy. Certified fresh at 80%. Audience score 36%. They weren't fans of that film.
I probably saw the first. I probably need to finish it. I probably didn't watch the last 20 minutes, but what I saw was good. I mean, I don't understand why the user audience is so upset these days.
I think it's just a lot of trolls these days, man. Because like you don't have to have you can literally just go and
as soon as
go.
they see a female lead, they're
right,
like,
exactly.
Fuck
A
this.
female lead or something they don't like politically, they just go, I don't like it.
Yeah,
You know? That's
but
all it
usually,
is.
I mean, it's fucking yeah. If The Rock's not in it, I guess they're not.
They're not stoked.
Because usually, all you have to do is put a guy on fucking film, and the user audience, unless it's a Star Wars film,
Of course.
then they campaign to make
No
sure.
matter what, it cannot be good.
Well, no one hates Star Wars more than Star Wars fans.
True.
But
Ironically enough.
yeah, users are usually so easy to please.
Yeah.
But that's, to me these days, that's a good sign usually. When the majority of regular people don't like it, that's usually a good sign for me. Yeah. Because how do you get Nomadland a 78?
I don't know. Being an asshole, I guess.
If you gave it a lower than a 90, you needed to hit the fucking road.
Yeah, you need to get in a van and
gather
hit the
yourself.
road.
Yeah, because you are lost, my friend. You are fucking lost. All right, Mason, would you recommend Nomadland to people? It is on Hulu. You can stream it right now.
For free.
But I would recommend going to a theater and seeing it. If there is a theater open, this is one that was definitely worth it to me.
Yeah, I probably would have liked to see this in theaters. I might actually still if I get the opportunity.
I'm sure you will. I'm sure you'll be there for a while because there's nothing coming out.
Right. All right, well, that is our review for Nomadland. If you guys like what you've seen here, please be sure to like this video, comment below, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell notification as we drop videos here every single day. Thank you so much for watching and listening. My name is Mason Knight. That is Cash Krause. Until next time.
Bye.